Here's your news for November 4th, 2019. We're kicking off with some big news from WWE's recent Crown Jewel event. As though the men and women involved are finally back in the United States after some travel issues, this story is far from over. According to the company themselves, a mechanical problem with the plane that was meant to take the superstars and crew home was behind the delay. But according to Hugo Savinovich, this was just a cover. The former Spanish commentator, who still has links to WWE, is now claiming that Vince McMahon hasn't been paid by the Saudis for the past 2 shows that have taken place in the country, and was so irate at this that he reportedly cut off the live feed for Crown Jewel for Saudi Arabian fans watching at home. According to Savinovich, the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, who has been a key figure in the WWE's deal with the nation, responded by ordering the entire crew off of the Atlas Air flight moments before departure, with mechanical issues being a cover story for what really happened. Though we can't say for certain what happened in Riyadh, the legendary commentator did bring up the fact that with his wealth and resources, Vince could have chartered another flight immediately if the delay was due to mechanical issues, which Savinovich is claiming as proof that there are issues between the chairman of the board and the Saudi royal family. More news from Crown Jewel now, as given the delay that caused many superstars to miss the SmackDown taping the next day, as well as the reported issues with McMahon, the Wrestling Observer is reporting that many superstars are extremely unhappy with the company. This unhappiness seems to have stemmed from a statement WWE made about the delay, where they claimed that some superstars were so worried about missing SmackDown that they chartered their own flights back to the US. And while this does make some unnamed superstars look good, it seems to have made the rest of the roster who were left stuck seem unmotivated and lazy. On his Instagram page, Luke Harper sarcastically claimed he, quote, "didn't want it enough to pay for my own charter," and included the hashtag #NotTop20, referring to those who were left behind. In the comments, other WWE employees shared their frustration, with Tyson Kidd suggesting they pool their money together instead of being lazy, while Scott Dawson merely commented, #poor. In the latest episode of Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer noted that several stars told McMahon that they were never going back to Saudi Arabia, and that there are others that can't wait to leave the company when they have the chance. Since the decade-long deal with the country launched last year, only a select handful of top talent has been able to veto going, including John Cena, Daniel Bryan, and Kevin Owens. In that same report, Meltzer said that the superstars in Riyadh were made to feel like, quote, hostages and pawns thanks to the presence of military police that escorted them off the plane, and that nobody bought the mechanical fault story. Regarding McMahon's missing money, The Observer said it's true that WWE hadn't received any payments for the shows as of September 30th, but during Crown Jewel, the company received an unspecified $60 million payment. Meltzer's co-host Brian Alvarez also brought up the fact that though the superstars were delayed, McMahon had already left Saudi Arabia before all the problems occurred, speculating that the chairman of the board knew what was going to happen, though other sources have said Vince wouldn't have left if he knew the gravity of the situation. The pair also mentioned that in order to provide star power to SmackDown, WWE champion Brock Lesnar was called upon to appear, and that his quitting of the Blue brand in favor of Raw was supposed to happen the week after. The WWE's deal with Saudi Arabia is no stranger to controversy, with the company receiving backlash after going ahead with last year's Crown Jewel after the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. But with every pay-per-view hosted there involving a scandal, we can't help but wonder just how much longer the sports entertainment juggernaut will continue to work alongside the nation. While the superstars of WWE definitely had a pretty bad week, the same can't be said for All Elite Wrestling World Champion Chris Jericho, who recently made his return to New Japan Pro Wrestling. In a video appearance at the New Japan Power Struggle, Jericho issued a challenge to Hiroshi Tanahashi for a match at Wrestle Kingdom 14 on January 5th next year. The first Wrestle Kingdom event to take place over 2 days, Tanahashi promptly accepted the challenge, though it doesn't seem like Jericho will be putting his AEW championship on the line. In fact, the title doesn't appear at all in Jericho's video, as it seems New Japan doesn't want to be seen promoting another company or its top championship title. For those wondering, Jericho's deal with AEW still allows him several New Japan dates a year, as the 48-year-old legend continues to prove why he's considered one of the busiest stars in all of professional wrestling. More news from All Elite Wrestling now, as despite Jericho's deal to work some dates for New Japan, AEW Executive Vice President Nick Jackson has once again shot down speculation of a partnership between the two companies. In case you missed this week's AEW Dynamite, Kenny Omega teased Kota Ibushi coming to the company, but when asked on Twitter, Jackson simply said a crossover wasn't happening. Of course, some fans saw Jackson's comment as proof that it was happening, and that the Buck was trying to swerve fans, but Nick followed up by saying he was being honest, and after being asked thousands of times about a partnership, there was zero chance of AEW and New Japan coming together. It seems like the speculated partnership really isn't happening, despite what some fans believe, as AEW is still trying to build its own brand less than a year after its big debut in January this year. Speaking of AEW, this coming Wednesday's edition of Dynamite will be the 6th episode of the show on TNT, and there's been plenty announced to get fans tuning in. The go-home show for their Full Gear pay-per-view, Dynamite will feature the Inner Circle's Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara battling Hangman Page and Kenny Omega. In addition to that, Cody Rhodes, who Jericho will face at Full Gear on November 9th, is set to make some sort of career announcement, but we don't know exactly what it'll be. Since launching in early October, Dynamite has continuously beat WWE's NXT in the Wednesday Night Wars, but given the recent Invasion storyline and the threat of retaliation by Raw and SmackDown, it'll be interesting to see whether AEW can keep their streak alive. Back to WWE now, and as we've already mentioned, WWE Champion Brock Lesnar shockingly quit SmackDown last week, alongside his advocate Paul Heyman. The advocate for the Beast revealed that Lesnar's decision stems from wanting revenge on Raw's Rey Mysterio, who leveled Brock with a steel chair at Crown Jewel after the Beast's decisive victory over Cain Velasquez. With Lesnar and the WWE Championship back on Raw, many have wondered what is the fate of the Universal Championship, and Dave Meltzer has confirmed that the title will be exclusive to SmackDown following The Fiend's victory over Seth Rollins in Riyadh. It's still not clear if the red title will receive a new look as part of the blue brand, but Wyatt did tease a custom belt when he won the WWE Championship in 2017. When the Universal title was revealed at SummerSlam 2016, fans were quick to blast the look and red leather on social media, and though fans have seemingly cooled off in the 3 years since, WWE should be careful with their design process if they do change the title to reflect its new home on Friday Night SmackDown. Speaking of SmackDown, this week's show saw an invasion of NXT superstars lay waste to the remaining roster of Team Blue, but it wasn't just the wrestlers who took a beating during the show. With Michael Cole and Corey Graves stranded in Saudi Arabia, WWE backstage host Renee Young was part of the commentary team this week, but received a boot to the face courtesy of NXT's Tegan Nox and SmackDown's Sonya Deville. The accidental strike took place during a tag match between Nox and Rhea Ripley and Fire and Desire, when Nox threw Deville into the commentary table, with the Canadian commentator being kicked in the face. On Twitter, Young joked that she was never going to do commentary again, and to be fair, this isn't the first time Young's been attacked since joining WWE, as she was slapped in the face by Maurice in January 2017 as part of The Miz's feud with then WWE superstar Dean Ambrose. In a response to Young's tweet, Nox said that she will apologize for the rest of her life, as it seems the Welsh Warrior will think twice before she throws an opponent into the innocent commentators next time. More news from Friday Night SmackDown now, as this week's show garnered an average of 2.54 million viewers, according to Showbuzz Daily. Despite not having a majority of its top stars, this week's show fared much better than last week's abysmal 888,000, when the Blue brand had to move to FS1 due to the World Series. Even looking at the last SmackDown on Fox from 2 weeks ago, this week's show was a triumph, seeing a 14.3 increase in viewers from the October 18th show. In the crucial 18 to 49 demographic, this past SmackDown gained a .8 rating, making it the #1 program for the night in this group. It'll be interesting to see whether WWE and SmackDown can continue this success in the coming weeks, as with this month's Survivor Series seeing Raw, SmackDown, and NXT battle each other for the first time ever, there may be plenty more invasions from both the gold and red brands. We've got some action figure news for you next, as Mattel and WWE have given collectors their first look at the latest wave of toys, including the very first figure of The Fiend. Though Bray Wyatt is no stranger to being immortalized in plastic, This new prototype shows off the new demonic character, complete with mask and sinister grin. The Fiend figure was just one of many new figures previewed at the recent Ringside Fest convention, which also saw figures for NXT superstars Keith Lee and Matt Riddle, as well as highly detailed elite figures of stars like Ricochet, AJ Styles, Finn Balor, and Sasha Banks, who will have her first figure with blue hair since her return in heel turn this past August. WWE and Mattel also revealed the second wave of their Masters of the Universe crossover figures, with Rey Mysterio, Roman Reigns, Macho Man Randy Savage, and John Cena all battling it out for control of Castle Grayskull. Speaking of the 16-time world champion, Cena has continued to focus on his growing career in Hollywood, though that doesn't mean he can't bring his acting chops back to WWE. This week, WWE superstar Fandango included a picture of himself and Cena from the show Southpaw Regional Wrestling, where the pair played the comedic commentators for the show, and teased that the third season of the show could be coming back. In the captions, the dancing superstars told fans to stay tuned and used the hashtag 2020, indicating that a third installment of the show may be released next year. As a throwback to the pre-WWE days of pro wrestling on TV, Southpaw proved to be an instant hit with fans upon its premiere in 2017, which saw many superstars break away from the characters fans have seen on TV to showcase their own comedic personalities. With that said, many stars who helped create Southpaw Regional Wrestling, such as Chris Jericho and TJP, are no longer with the company, so it'll be interesting to see what the future holds for the fictitious promotion. And finally today, we're focusing on former WWE superstar Lance Storm, who is set to return to the company backstage as a producer. A veteran of the industry, Storm started his career in 1990 alongside Chris Jericho, and after being trained by the legendary Hart family, would work in ECW, WCW, and eventually WWE, holding championship gold wherever he went. At ECW One Night Stand 2005, Storm competed in his retirement match against Jericho and broke the news of his impending return on Twitter this past week to his near 250,000 followers. Since retiring from the ring, the former Intercontinental Champion has led the Storm Wrestling Academy in Calgary, but in August this year announced that the school would be closing at the end of 2019. As a champion of WWE, WCW, and ECW, Storm will bring 30 years of wrestling experience to the company when he starts as a producer, which will prove vital to training the next generation of WWE superstars.